back to why we're here, in each of the discussions that a lot of us had, there was a lot of misinformation and assumptions and innuendos, and I heard this, or what about that? So we thought, let's bring in some experts. Let's bring in some experienced people and talk about the different things that we know about, the different things we don't. We have some sheets of paper on the board here, and what we're going to do is kind of go through a list of problems. We'll kind of get a survey of problems as we know them, and then we'll take as much time as we can in getting through all those problems. And we found it a little bit challenging just in conversations that this esteemed panel and I have had, in that the conversation just can take a lot of different directions. But we're going to talk about the different problems that might be out there, and this is technology in cars, and this is cars get more complex and more reliant on electrically driven features and functions. What effects does that have on the drivers and dangers and et cetera? Then we'll talk about some of the systems that are behind those, and then anything that we can learn from that. If there's any truisms we can take away today, that would be great, that we know about certain cars and systems, and questions even that we take away are good, because again, then we're all asking the same things. But hopefully we'll all be a little bit smarter by the end of this conversation, and we'll get started here. I have my able-bodied assistant here to write down things as we go over it. But first, let's get a chance to meet the panel here. And I'm going to just go right down the list here. If you don't know these people, I'm going to actually have them stand up and introduce themselves to you, their name, their title, and a little bit on their background. So we'll start with you, John Tarmelin, please.
I'm John Tarmelin. I was an automotive researcher and writer.
My name is Ahmed, and like many terrorists, I go by one name, but I'm not a terrorist. I've been working in the automotive industry for 40 plus years in advanced technology, emissions control kinds of things, and somewhere along the line, I served as president of the Society of Automotive Engineers International, SAE International. And
most of this, can you pass it out if people raise their hand? Sorry.
Hello, I'm Richard Schmidt. Let's see, I started working on these sort of problems back in '82 when an attorney called me and asked me if I could make some sense of this accident that was involved with a GM car that's since become known as unintended acceleration. At the time, and still am, a professor at UCLA in psychology. And what I studied was human performance, that is to say, how is it that we control our limbs to get skilled actions done, such as might be required to drive a car? And what kind of things could go wrong with the motor system when it tries to make skilled actions? So this is the basis for this attorney talking to me. He had this accident, which now we know quite commonly as unintended acceleration, and he couldn't make sense of it. And he said, well, is there any way you can make sense of it in terms of human error? He said, well, let's think about it. So we started thinking about it, and that one thing led to another, and I've been consulting with all the automakers ever since, basically, on this problem. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
Good morning, everybody. Currently, I'm leading the teams that handle technical training for Toyota, Scion, and Lexus. Our mission is to be sure that anybody who's got a Toyota, Scion, or Lexus vehicle should be able to go to any of our respective dealerships with any service issue at any time and find somebody who's trained, ready to go, not going to learn on your car at $80 an hour. They know what to do. So that's what we do. Prior to that, I had worked in a number of different positions within Toyota. I'm 29 years with Toyota at this point. Prior to that, a couple of years with Alfa Romeo, their technical training program. And prior to that, a high school auto shop teacher. I was the chairman of ASE, different than SAE. This is a National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence in 2005, and currently the vice chairman of the National Technical Education Foundation, a part of ASE. Very happy to be here.
Good morning, I'm Steve Baser. I'm the Chief Automotive Engineer for the Auto Club of Southern California. I manage our state-of-the-art emissions fuel economy performance laboratory, our automotive research center in Diamond Bar. And I've been with the club for 25 years, and prior to that, I spent some time at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory developing electric and hybrid vehicles, and before that, I was a carburetor wizard at Ford Motor Company.
Carburetors, that's what we need.
My name is Don Fuller. I think a lot of you in here probably know me. Some of the things that might be pertinent to this discussion, I was somewhat involved with the Audi issue back in the 1980s. We started exploring what people are actually doing in those cars as opposed to what they say they're doing in those cars. I've done a fair amount of racing, and I've done a fair amount of participation in high-performance driving clinics for salespeople, for consumers, and so forth, and had a lot of time to observe from the right seat of the car what people are doing in the left seat of the car during various types of maneuvers. I also work a fair amount as an expert witness in lemon law for the defense, so I spend a lot of time looking at depositions and being deposed and testifying at trial, and again comparing what really is happening with the vehicles as opposed to what people say is happening with the vehicles. And so I've formulated the viewpoint that if a person tells you one story and a car tells you a different story, it ain't the car that's lying. And I also I have a little handout back there in the back, which I put together. It's called The Irrefutable Maxim of Mechanical Impossibility. It's based on an old thing called Occam's Razor. So those are back at the back table if you want to pick one up, and I've given them to a few other people here. So that's kind of what I might bring to this party.
Great.
Oh, I also used to be a shop teacher. There
There you go.
Okay.
My name is Dan Edmonds, and I'm a mechanical engineer out of Cal Poly Pomona, and I spent 16 years working in the automotive industry, driving prototype vehicles at proving grounds and doing suspension, tire, and brake development work. And since then, I've come to Edmonds.com, no relation, and I'm the director of vehicle testing for Edmonds.com and InsideLighting.com.
Great. Well, obviously a great panel here, and hopefully you'll consider all of them resources for the discussion that we can have today and beyond. So I'm so pleased to just even introduce these people to all of you and to meet them myself. So what I'd like to do, a couple quick things. Obviously, we're not about a particular problem or a particular manufacturer.